Welcome back to Broken Berean. I'm your host, Stuart, and I'm here to talk to you about Dr. James H. Landis. So, who in the world is Dr. James H. Landis? He was a Southern Baptist preacher and a college president. There are very few alive today that would even remember Dr. Landis personally. As you can tell from the image, there's not a lot of information about him. I couldn't find his actual birth date, but I was able to find when he passed away. Until I started this project, I only knew his name from a wall display. There isn't a whole lot of information on Dr. Landis out there. I don't have all the dates, but prior to 1945, he served as pastor of various churches in his 20s and 30s, including First Baptist Floyd, Texas, First Baptist Dial, Texas, First Baptist Eagle Lake, Texas, Central Baptist Bryan, Texas, and First Baptist Church Birmingham, Alabama. After that, he became the pastor of First Baptist Church of Wichita Falls, Texas, from 1945 to 1963. From there he took the position of the president of Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, from 1963 to 1966. After that, he went back to preaching as a pastor of First Baptist Church of Richardson, Texas, from 1968 to 1973. Finally, he served during that time and after as the executive director of the Baptist General Convention of Texas from 1974 and 1983. This, for those that don't know, the Texas Baptist is like a smaller form of a Baptist coalition inside the Southern Baptist Convention. We can get into that. I can explain all that later at a later date, but just know it's just kind of a smaller part of the larger part. Although I don't have and I haven't been able to find the dates, it does appear there's information out there that does suggest that he did teach at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, in the 70s, possibly early 80s. There is a theological seminary. Baylor University was founded by Baptists, and this is not unheard of. I just don't have exact details. So why am I talking about Dr. James H. Landis? Well, I came across 10 of Dr. Landis' sermons on vinyl in a set that was sold decades ago, and I digitized them. And this is where the project began. This project probably began 8 years ago. I just started it. It got pushed aside by things in life, and I've revisited it. Why would I do a digitization of vinyl from the 40s and 50s, maybe possibly 60s? First off, pure curiosity. After listening to them, while I was digitizing them and listening to them again and again and again, multiple times through the process, they aren't life-changing sermons. In fact, they're kind of light compared to the expository preaching that we expect today from preachers from the pulpit. These sermons do serve several purposes, though. First, it's good to hear what sermons sounded like from the 40s and 60s. 40s to 60s, I should say. And yes, he does sound very stereotypical of the preacher voice that comedians have been using as a Southern Baptist preacher trope for years. Second, it's good to hear preachers back then because they really did care about the social issues out there and the perspective that they had and how they came to address those issues. Third, from a preaching perspective, it's good to hear how sermons have evolved and theology has deepened. And finally, there's no telling what you may find, like, or learn from these sermons. Also, finally, I'm a huge advocate of preserving all knowledge, period. End of sentence. Now, 8 of the 10 sermons that I have digitized from vinyl are absolutely decent. There was a lot of lack of care over the past 60 years or so. One of the sermons that I did digitize, the first 6 minutes have a lot of skips. And I did all that I could to clean it up. It seems to have had a bad needle that roughed it up when playing years ago, who knows when, because it's only the first 6 minutes that are roughed up and not the flip of the vinyl, so it was definitely a bad needle that ruined it. However, it's still good to listen to, because despite the fact that it's only 6 minutes of the 24 or so, it is a decent sermon to listen to, examine, and expound on. There is one other sermon that I don't know if I'm going to upload. And it is not because of anything that is really damaging. But you have to understand context. These sermons were preached somewhere at First Baptist Church of Wichita Falls between the 40s and 60s. This is decades before a certain term became derogatory. Dr. Landis uses the term for a bundle of sticks when he's describing collecting bundles of wood of certain individuals in the past to set people on fire to punish them at burning at the stakes. Clearly, this is not a derogatory term that was meant to be used to hurt any individual, but let's just say there's no telling what could be flagged or what could be condemned just by using this specific word today. 60 years ago, absolutely no problem. No one even would have given a second thought. But now today, in today's sensitive culture, it's one of those, what will happen? So I'm going to upload 9 of the sermons, and the 10th I'm either going to delay, add a special feature to the front, a special warning to the front, or maybe just skip uploading it to YouTube altogether and load it to an alt media account for those that are interested in it. So, if you know anything about Dr. James H. Landis and have any more information about that, please comment below. I may make a conclusion video if I get more information, just to wrap up his sermons. But I hope that in the future you will listen to the 10 sermons that I will upload over the next couple of weeks. And I hope it finds it beneficial to you in some way, whether it touches you spiritually or from an academic or a pastoral stance, gives you information or suggestion on how you should proceed in your sermons, other things of that nature. I don't know what you'll find to it, but I want to preserve his sermons in their entirety for the posterity of history. I don't know what else I can say, but simply this: they're interesting. If nothing else, they're interesting to listen to. Now, I am not a sound engineer in the least. I used a Pile turntable and Audacity to capture the audio to my computer. I used Adobe Podcast to kind of clear up the audio. And I've combined both sides of the vinyls together in my rudimentary attempt, my basic knowledge of sound, to put these sermons together. If you have any information on Dr. Landis, any information on how to improve these sound qualities of these sermons, because I no longer have access to the original vinyl anymore, I would appreciate it. So, with that, thank you for watching, and please tune back in, because there's more videos coming with vintage sermons from a Texas Southern Baptist church, and there's no way in the world you can say that watching them will not bring a smile to your face. And with that, have a wonderful day. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.